Hey, welcome, brothers all over the world. This is the infamous and famous trip report, and so pardon me tonight. Yes, it is 4 o'clock in the morning here, so I got up and with me too is James, who is also a member of this November 2021 Quest Romance Tour. My brother, how you doing?
Doing real good. I'm having trouble with the time change, and I wake up for some reason around 3:30, 4 o'clock. So I said, why not get up and be a part of this?
That's awesome, man. I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did. Reporting in live from his hotel room, just a few yards away from the office here, which is great. So we're going to share with you a pack of photos from the event just 2 days ago. This is it's going to be a lot, and I asked James to stay on, and we're going to go ahead and do our commentary of these as they go. And Chris is going to run the show. So guys, without any further ado, let's go to the photos. Yeah. So if at any time you want to comment on ladies, you're absolutely allowed to here at this point.
All right.
And mentioning the tables. How was the environment in general? Chris, you can just keep running. For you, this was the first time for you to do it. You know, this is your
Yeah.
first tour.
Yeah. I was obviously a little nervous at the first table, but the first table was really good. And I'm like, wow, this was easier, so much easier than I thought it would be. And then, like two tables later, we hit uh, a little bit of a rough spot, but we got through it. And then after that, it was like, oh, this is easy, even when you struggle a little bit.
Off to the races.
Yeah, definitely. But
We had a lot of
but
guys saying, like, no
yep,
matter
go
how
ahead.
many training videos you've been through, it's still something different when you're there in person, looking, sitting across the table.
Yeah, and I think the important thing is you have to bring the energy to the table. If you don't,
Mm.
um, it can go flat. The second day, it was just like we kind of all got together and just like let's all bring the energy, and it was like night and day difference just by doing that
Wow.
because everybody was doing it. All the girls just like were just ready to communicate with you for sure.
David wants to know what constitutes a rough spot. And I think he means just a table that had flat energy.
Yeah, I mean, there was just flat energy. There was one girl like in the middle. She crossed her arms and she was friends with the other girl, and it was like she was almost afraid to interact because of her friend. You know, so it was just a little different. It wasn't bad, but it was just it wasn't like the other ones because the other ones were just so upbeat.
Well, and I told everybody in advance in the coaching, I just said, get used to the fact that every table will have a different vibe. Some are going to be hilarious and laughter. Some are going to be more intellectual.
Yeah.
Um, and some will be flat. But you bring a lot. I guess your point, James, is that you bring the energy you want to the table to draw it out of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Once we kind of figured that out, it was like, wow, I mean, I wish I would have known this the first day.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
That's good coaching. All right, so get the guys up to speed. So you went through here. How many came out after 2 days of this? Came out like at your list. You have 6 or 8. You said yes, I'd like to date, and you just started. How give the guys a rundown on how it went.
Well, if the first day there was only three girls, and they all
Mm-hmm.
happened to be blondes. So my romance
Mm-hmm.
coach and goes, "Do you have a thing for blondes?"
Well, let's
So
put it
I'm
this
like,
way: the first day there were 3 that you wanted out of the 40 you met.
definitely, definitely. And there
Okay.
was one maybe. So
Mm-hmm.
she convinced me to go on a date with a maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I did, and she was younger, and my daughter said, "I don't want you dating anybody younger than me," and she happened to be a year younger than my daughter. But it was an amazing date. I mean, we really connected. She knew a little bit of English. When our romance coach left, we were still able to communicate. And yeah, it was good. I was surprised, but it was definitely a good place to start. And then at the end of the date, she's I said, all right, we'll go back to the hotel. Everything's good. And then she said, oh, by the way, you got another date. And I'm like, whoa, okay. And then off we went to the second date. I'm kind of glad I didn't know about the second date
Mm-hmm.
uh, because then I wouldn't have been thinking about the next one or am I
Mm.
too tired or whatever. So and the second date was good too. I mean, I've dated six girls so far, two of them second dates. I had a third date with one yesterday, and then she got sick like right away. But um, we talked to her last night. She's feeling better, so we're going to do a pottery master class today. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Cool. That
Yeah.
sounds cool. So then on day 2, you met another 40 ladies, and how many there were on your radar?
Then I had 10
Wow.
that really like. I never even looked at the ones that gave me the phone numbers because it really didn't matter.
Hmm.
Because I was just focused on the ones that were interested in me. This gal right here was pretty amazing. They're the gal in the
Mm.
silver there. Yeah,
Mm.
so that she she was kind of took over the table and just like wow, just a delight to talk to. And I thought she was like 25. She ended up being 39.
Wow.
And that was the hard part. We didn't. This
Oh,
is
there
me
you
actually.
are,
Yeah, with my romance coach,
Inga.
uh, Inga. I actually had a different romance coach. Her husband got sick. Inga come in last minute. I had 30 minutes with her before it started, but it's just been a delight. She's been there for me. I thought, oh geez, a big change in the middle, but no, it wasn't an issue. And she's been with the company for quite a while, so
Yep.
that's good for sure.
Yeah. Well, Inga's the manager of our IQT department, so
Yeah.
she's
Oh, yeah.
a lot of
So it's
successes. Very
definitely.
sophisticated.
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
interesting when we're out on our dates. We're dating different girls, but it seems like every restaurant we go to, there's one or two guys show up. you know,
Ah,
with you know. And yesterday, I can't remember who showed up. One of them showed up, and they seen us in the back corner. And she runs over there and closes the drapes. So it was kind of funny, but no, it's been really good. There's been the guys are like amazing here. I'm kind of a loner kind of guy for the most part, so I thought, man, I'm gonna have a little issues, kind of bonding with people. But shoot, first night, we all the guys that were here had dinner with you and went to the hookah
yep.
bar. Kind
Yep.
of got things rolling. It's been great ever
Yeah.
since. So, kind of one of the highlights is in the morning you get up and you go talk to everybody. How's things
Yeah.
going? Yesterday when I had a little issue, I went down and talked to the guys first, and they said talk to Mark. So
Yep.
we chatted yesterday.
You got to realize we've probably seen everything at this point. So, um,
Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes,
asking us would is always a good thing to do.
definitely. But and that's the other thing too is you would think the 20-year-olds, I'm 63. You would
Hmm.
think the 20-year-olds would just look at you and nothing to do with you, but I got numbers from two of the one girl 29 and one 21, and I'm like,
Wow.
whoa.
Braces. I love that.
Yeah, this girl here, I was really interested in, and then she wasn't there on the night I was there.
Oh,
So
interesting.
yeah, so then I found out from my romance coach she was there, and she said, "You interested in dating her?" And I said, well, "Yeah, she was one I was looking for." So let's do it. So I got actually a date with her on Thursday.
Oh, cool. Good for you.
Yeah, so
You have not because you asked not, right?
that's true. And oh, by the way, on the second day, I had like 10 girls. Only three of them were blondes, the rest were brunettes, and actually one redhead. So
Oh, geez, the full
oh,
rainbow.
first time I ever did one, on a date with a redhead was here, and she was
Wow.
great. She was great.
Wow.
Yeah,
That is great.
yeah. But actually, one of the reasons I was up last night and it was to see the girls standing up because we only see them, just a third of them or half of them because we see them sitting at the table.
Hmm.
And some of the dresses I wouldn't even known they were wearing them.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what's next
For
for you?
for
More
me,
dates tomorrow. You got a pottery class.
Yeah, I got a pottery class, date with a different girl tomorrow. And then we have one of the things we found is the girls from here um, are usually working. So you should leave your opening slots in the evening for them because
Hmm.
and the ones that are out from out of town try to schedule them for in the
During the day,
morning.
yeah, because they
Yeah.
left everything, so they're not at their
Yes.
works.
Yeah. So that's something we've kind of learned as we went, uh, uh, through the process. So, but I've had 3 dates every day except for the meet and greet days.
Ah, that's great.
Yep.
Well,
So
and your
we
romance coach would know that stuff. She'll know how to book them and when.
Yeah, and it's funny because she makes these subtle suggestions, kind
Hmm.
of plants these things in your head. There again is being an Anna and
Look
her.
at you,
So
Inga.
yeah. Oh yeah, I was just, it was just awful, wasn't it? Didn't it look like
Yeah.
so, but now
You're.
I've got two of them I'm really kind of zeroed in on, at least I
Hmm.
thought yesterday. But
Hmm.
third one came into the picture yesterday. So now
Wow.
it's like, oh wow, what do we do now? So
Too
we had
many
to move.
choices.
Yeah, we had to move a date because she works here. Um, but it's interesting because every date is totally
Wow.
different. And you better be ready to answer any kind of question that comes at you because you never know where the conversation's going. I met this one girl, just she was a delight. I mean, she spent 6 years in Dubai, and I brought up
Mm.
in the conversation that my son spent 5 years in Dubai. She said,
Mm.
"Well, did you ever go visit him?" And I goes, "No, but my daughter did." Now, why didn't you go with your daughter? And I go, "Well, my ex-wife went with my daughter." Well, why didn't you go anyway? And I'm like, "Well, she was only married to her new husband for a year, and I just didn't think it was quite right for
Mm.
he didn't go."
Mhm.
And one of the girls said, "Well, I don't understand." The other girls, "Oh yeah, yeah." So it was like this conversation back and forth between the
Wow.
girls, and I'm going, "Oh man, what's going to come from this, right?"
Yeah.
And I got all three girls' numbers, so
Nice.
yeah, so yeah, just but you got to be ready for anything, especially the question, "Why did you come here looking for Ukrainian women?"
How
Um,
did you answer?
yeah, well, I basically, I had a lot of influence with people that had adopted children from other countries, and I seen how and I watched them grow up actually, and seeing how the families kept their uh, where they come from was so important to who
Mhm.
they were, and they had to understand their culture and so on and so forth. And then I actually met a guy from Ukraine that I volunteer with and did some other stuff with him. And I started traveling. And then I actually told him how I first, I've always been interested in women, outside of like from the European countries. And then I had went through my divorce and I actually bumped into you as a men's coach on YouTube.
Mhm.
I
Oh,
didn't know anything
cool.
about connection, shall we say.
Mhm. Mhm.
Then so I started watching some, and then it was like, they kept saying, "What this dream connection thing? Well, what's this?" So
Mhm.
and then I started doing some research and like, wow, that's something pretty interesting. Thought about it for a while, and I'm kind of one of those guys that I don't want to be that guy that kind of, sitting in the old folks' home wondering why didn't I do that when I had that opportunity.
Yeah.
And in my life, I'm retired. I do volunteer work. One of the issues I've struggled with in the is that the women in America haven't fallen into the love with my dream life. And
Mm.
you talk about that. So I'm thinking, if I just put it out there, this is the life I'm living, and I find somebody that wants to share that, and especially here, because I mean, when they look at you, sometimes you melt. I mean, they just when they're so it's so intense the way they look at you, and they're just understanding and trying to understand everything you have to say. And if they're interesting, you definitely know it. And First date, or excuse me, the second date, first day, we got up and the lady grabbed my arm and was like, "Wow, let's go." And actually, at some of the tables, some of them want to just take me home right now. So
Yeah.
yeah, so there's ain't gonna be again.
There
So
you are again,
yeah,
celebrity.
there's the girl. She was. You see how she just looks at you? It's
Oh
just
yeah,
pretty crazy.
captivating.
Yes, yes.
That's
So
cool.
yeah, it's and again, the interesting is talking to the other guys because you've mentioned in the past. One guy on like first day, this gal just grabbed him and you're my man, and it's like wow, and but he was scared.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
funny.
first day, I mean, and his first date was really good. He was kind of into her, and then this other one is like, is she too aggressive?
Yeah.
That's like what a terrible problem to have.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So
Being chased by women.
yeah, I mean that doesn't happen in the U.S. No, never.
No.
Yeah, no, 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 no. So and once in a while you look around the room and you have one of the girls kind of, if you're on your downtime, kind of looking at you,
Hmm.
whatever. And oh, she's watching.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty cool.
Ah, that was a great collection.
Mhm.
Fantastic videos. And so, guys, if you want to look through those again, look for the replay, and you can go in slow motion and watch through all those. And of course, more coming. We're going to be putting out a video a week from the events, and lots more coming. And what I want to do now is, guys, I wanted to just open up the chats to also ask James some questions while we're right here. Is there anything else you want to add? James, about your decision to come, your being here, how it's different from expectations, or better, or
Yeah.
worse?
Well, one of the things I did, I kind of kept it quiet back home, but that I was coming
Hmm.
because I didn't want people to kind of judge where I was going and try to talk me out of it, put these preconceived notions in my head. And just before I left, I actually sat down with my kids, and I told them where I was coming, and it was pretty funny in that my daughter, she's been, she took a new job and she's like super stressed out. So I started to tell her, where I'm coming and like, what this, Dream Connection is all about. And I, hooked her up with, go check out the videos, kind of explain it,
Hmm.
blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
And when she first heard it and I started explaining what a romance coach was, she started laughing and just crying. I mean, just tears come out. And she said, "Dad, it's tears of joy for you." So it was good to kind of connect with, let the kids know, just my kids, and
Mm.
then now I'm, staying connected with them. They're super excited for me. I've showed them who my first romance coach was, my second romance coach. Today I'm going to send my romance coach sends me pictures of the girls that I date. So I'm going to send pictures to them so they feel like they're a part of the experience. So
Mm.
depending on how things turn out when I get back home, then we'll sit down with the friends and say, dude, you guys want to see what I was doing in Ukraine? And boom, here it is. Because they knew I was coming here, but they didn't. And I told them, that I was just coming here on vacation. So,
Hmm.
well, yeah. So I want to kind of keep a little bit of mystery, when I go back to tell people, and then
Hmm.
if things work out and things are kind of heading the right direction, I may have my girl, and have somebody that
Wow.
on online, and who knows where we go from there.
That's fantastic. One
Mhm.
of the guys was saying, is that you're excited? Is that what's keeping you up? You can't sleep?
Yeah, because the dates go through your head, and especially when you got two or three girls
Hmm.
that you're interested in and you feel you have a connection with. And we chatted a little bit yesterday,
Hmm.
and we won't go into the issue, but both girls were like dead even. They're different, but I woke up for 2 hours like trying to think about it and trying to elevate one above the other, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do
Mm.
it, and I didn't want to give up on either one, but I didn't want to lose either one. So it was like, let's
Hmm.
deal with this issue, and we'll go from there. So So that keeps me up. And then the time change thing, you just wake up and you're like, and if you get up and do something, then when I go back to sleep, I'll sleep 3 or 4 hours and I'll get up and talk to the brothers and start my day, because my day don't start today till about 11.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding. It was fun to hang out yesterday for breakfast, and I go by through and do my rounds about 3 times in the morning and a couple times in the evening, just see how everybody's doing and where everybody's at. But Alan asked if you had a chance to do shopping there for clothes for yourself.
No, I actually watched your video on kind of
Mm-hmm.
trying to be a little stylish in my clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So my romance coach gave me the thumbs up, so I'm good there. The only thing you need in November is a hat. So if you ever come back in November, it's a little cold.
Yeah,
And
a knit cap or something like that.
yeah, my romance coach is always on me because my jacket is kind of a medium jacket, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
originally from Michigan, so it's cool with me. Um, Walking with the girls, they want to be close to you. It is cold, and you know, so no problem with that. Yeah.
Yeah, a good snuggle weather, right?
Yes, yes, definitely, definitely. It does limit some of the things you can do because of the cold weather. Some of the things are shut down, but and COVID has. We've we've had issues going into some restaurants where they ask for your card or your papers because of COVID. Um, a lot of the girls don't have papers, but they just kind of bat their eyes and in they go. But I show them mine, and we go. And but nobody's really stopped us and forbidden us from going anywhere.
Yeah.
So
No, in fact, there's only one place I went. It was funny because I've been around town. And the only one place that asked me for, a test or a card or something was this place called Megasport, and it's just basically a sporting goods store. And I'm going like, of all the places, you know, you guys should be
yeah,
letting everybody in because you're not going to get a lot of business in COVID. But
that's true. That's true.
yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, guys, what other questions do you have? We are live here with James on the tour right now. He is dating like a madman and already found somebody he thinks could be the one. He's excited. Let me ask you about that. We had this conversation before too, James, and a lot of guys do that.
Yeah.
Is how do you start weeding it down to the ones that are the one for you?
Well, I think when you go on your dates,
Mm-hmm.
it's a discovery process, and a lot of your first dates are an hour, hour and a half. But if you usually try to have a little extra time so you can come and go where you need to go. But some of the dates just kind of sometimes bleed into the next date because you kind of lose track of time. And when you start losing track of time, you realize you're into this girl. Had
Mm-hmm.
one date, I thought it was like an hour long, and it was like 4 hours long. I mean,
Wow,
so I knew I was into that person for sure. And
that's a
I'm
good sign.
and I didn't want it to end. And I had a date with her yesterday, and we kind of had that same conversation. And she's like,
Well, let me get through some of the questions that are in here. Paul asks, is March warmer or colder than November? March is typically warmer, and I've had it varying. I've had sometimes where March is like spring, and other times March is just a continuation of winter. So, it's hard to tell what March will be. And in fact, I got to tell you, the last 2 months have been colder than it is here right now. So it varies a little bit, but they have 4 seasons here. What's the weirdest question that you were asked so far, and what question stood out to you? We went over this because on the second day after the first day of meet and greets in the morning, we have a little training thing, which I give them logistics. Here's how the day is going to go and some tips. And then the next day we have another meeting, and then we get to listen to them and say, here's questions I was asked and what was interesting. So like you said, they're always asking, what brought you here? Why are you looking for a Ukrainian woman, not somebody from your own country? A lot of them will ask uh, questions about obviously your work, if you've been married before, if you have kids, all that kind of stuff is standard. So that stuff, but again, what I always teach is like, think about answering it from her perspective, right? So what she wants to know is, if you're a family guy, then then that you just talk about your love for your kids, just in general says something about you. So it's not just that you have kids. Hey, James, welcome back. All right. Well, I want to wrap it up for tonight, but I want to tell you guys a couple things. Next Tuesday is going to be a really special thing. I'm working on getting a couple here, but we're also going to be introducing the Black Friday specials. Now, it's going to be limited. There's only going to be 5 available per category, and so I'll let you know about that. But this year, because of my gratitude for you guys for really being men of action, coming out here and getting us through, I'm bumping the group tour discount by 50% and making it even better. So it's really something you're going to want to grab. And with that, I will stop the recording and go to live Q&A. But I want to thank you guys. And I'm telling you, every time you see one of these, what I want you to take away when you watch one of these trip reports is, in a sense, there's a pro and a con. On the con side, they go, "Wow, this is just like any other trip report." And then, but the good news on that is, then when you come, yours will be like this. The experience is the same. All the guys say the same thing. They have the same experience. So I'm just telling you, when you come, you will have the same experience too. So I think that's the takeaway on this. It's just great. You're going to come here. You're going to meet fantastic ladies, hang out with a good group of brothers. You're probably going to have more prospects than you know what to do with, and have to make an shucky darns decision between 2 that are really amazing, right? So that's going to be for you too, and I look forward to sharing that with you. So you're next. Get in your profile form, and let's talk about getting you out here for 2022, because it's going to come soon enough. And I'm telling you what, like one of the guys said, if you had 80 women at the meet and greet events, only 14 guys, what happens to the other ladies? And I go, well, need more guys or they'll come back on the next tour. So there's plenty here, plenty of opportunity here. Plus, obviously, many, many more ladies to date than just the ones who show up at the event. Guys, I love you, and we'll close out the recording. We're going to go right to Q&A. But just remember, brothers, if you're watching this on YouTube or anywhere else, you're next. Make it happen.